Welcome back to the C Morning Show, everyone. And we're only in the second day of 2025. And Shafir and I often ask each other this question: what resolutions are we making this year? Nothing about fitness, because that one's obvious. Something else.
More discipline to making money.
Ooh, that's a good one. No.
What about you?
Sometimes that's out of our control.
Have to be disciplined. Exactly, right?
Okay, this is something that I've been doing starting last year, and I cannot believe it's taken me a year to have to do it again, but I've been cleaning out my closet. My wife is very diligent at it, and she continues to tell me all the time, you need to clean out the closet. You know, when I take out one shirt, 3 comes out because they're all so packed and tight. So again, I'm starting to make this an annual thing where I'm gonna clean out my closet and give most of them away if they're still in good condition, and just let go of things, because I feel like sometimes I don't let go of things enough, and also try not. And I've done this past year where I try to get less things, because that way it won't pile up as much. Sometimes we get things, but you know, only when
sometimes we have to let it go and then you know, like detach ourselves with things that we don't need it anymore. Because I know that this I don't know, there's a spirit that we have to bring in 2025 is no. You only need one. I don't know if you know about that,
nice one.
But that's the spirit. All right.
I like it.
Speaking of which, we will talk about conscious fashion consumerism with our guest today. We have, she is an educator. She is a businesswoman and also content creator who promotes the cause on social media. Of course, she is Cempaka Asriani.
Hi,
good morning. Happy New Year.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So, Mbak Cempaka and I, we know each other, Paul, for your information.
Clearly.
So we went to the gym together, and then I know her. And the way she tells the story through her social media account, especially to remind us, hey, be mindful about being shop a lot, just not too much, but basic things that we need.
Okay, the term that we were given today is conscious fashion consumerism.
Exactly.
So could you get us started by telling us what is conscious fashion consumerism for those that aren't familiar?
So basically, when it comes to human being will always consume.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a basic trait of
Unavoidable.
human being. Yeah. So, and one of the things that we consume frequently is fashion. But the thing is, fashion is now become a commodity, mass productions, whereas a lot of products that available in the markets are mostly cheap, low
Fast
quality.
fashion. You're talking about fast fashion.
Cheap, low quality, fast fashion stuff.
Right.
So this consumerism is really an idea on how to consume fashion more responsible.
Yeah.
So that we are opt for things that is more high quality, that last longer, and also support like local artisans or local brands.
Okay, so it's basically a move for us to be more aware of what we're purchasing, where our goods come from, what it's made of, basically all the little details.
Yeah, and where does it end up at the end of the day.
Yeah, we have to be responsible on that.
Yeah.
So as we enter the new year, many people are thinking about, like Paul asking me about the resolutions, new resolutions, things. How can we adopt the conscious fashion consumerism become our resolutions? In a way of, things that we buy.
Yeah. So this is really interesting that I think this conversation has to pass, not only become a New Year resolution, but we really need to kind of consider to shop consciously starting now, because what is happening in the world today is just really bad.
Yeah.
For example, I have a real little number here. In 1960s, people spent 10% of their average income to buy 25 of clothing.
Okay.
Whereas in 2010, they spend only 4% of their annual income for 25 pieces of clothing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry. In 1960, 10% for 25.
Okay.
In 2010, it's 4% for 70 pieces of clothing.
Oh,
So
okay.
that means that the price of clothing is really cheaper, but the quality is actually worse.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is not a matter of unethical or sustainable, but really what is happening or what is available in the market is that yeah, what I said before, it's a cheap clothing.
Yeah.
So for me, I think the most important thing is that why you have to really consciously consume right now is that this, you really need to address this question. Do you really want to spend your hard-earned money to buy like trash items?
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
Which will literally turn to trash in a couple of years. because it's
Exactly.
not high
So
quality.
yeah,
Even
so,
months.
Yeah, so it's really important to really able to pick like the better quality so that your clothing or your collection will stay longer.
Okay, where does one start? Because I think the culture as we have it
Yeah.
now with the ease of online shopping,
Yeah.
having things delivered right to your door, which is something also bad for the environment. Where do we start? Do we start by starting to look at labels? Do we look at certain company backgrounds? It is such a kind of a large map for us to
Right,
cover.
right.
Where does one start if we're already used to this kind of habit of fast fashion?
I always recommend to do like the easy 3 parts.
Okay.
First, you need to start by audit your wardrobe. So what you do, Paul, is actually correct.
Okay, thank
So
you.
you have to see your current collections, what you have on your wardrobe, to see the things that you already own. Which one is which one do you like? Which one do you wear a lot? Which one that you don't wear? So that you know, like you would avoid unnecessary purchase.
Okay.
Because you know, like, okay, I don't wear this kind of stuff, so you don't buy it anymore.
Got it.
Or I already have this, so I don't buy it anymore. So yeah, first audit, and also like if you found something that is broken a little, like you found hole or something, try to repair it instead of just discard it in the landfills.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and 2 is you can start by shop better. So opt for higher quality local brands. Something that timeless style. So
True.
yeah, we will go transcends time.
Right.
And 3rd, you can also like do like recycle. Recycle or upcycle. So if you have something that you don't like anymore, instead of like just discard it, you can also like maybe give it to someone else or repurpose it into something else.
Sure.
Yeah, so that's the 3 things that you can start doing.
Well, you and I have taken part in this kind of, in different ones, but a pre-loved market.
Yes,
I took part in one. You
yes,
took part in
yes,
one.
I did.
Everything's, basically almost everything's sold.
Yes, and
That's how
I
much people are
realized that
interested.
I'm pretty good taking care of my clothing
Sure, they're in
because
good
my
condition.
wardrobe is pretty neat, but yes, it ended up discarded to the landfill. I don't know.
Right.
I don't want to wear it anymore because of I don't know, probably because of it doesn't match my personality, or I just don't like
You've
it
outgrown
anymore,
it.
or exactly. So it just end up there, and then I don't know what to do. And then the pre-loved things are being a trend now, so I can make a money
Yeah.
with that, and then I can buy a new thing with more conscious. Because I'm thinking about, I used to have that one and I don't wear it, so I don't want to buy it anymore. So it's like creating a new understand about things that we want to buy next.
Absolutely.
So for someone who is used to fast fashion, as you mentioned already, to do the 3 things, how about if someone just starting out and doesn't know where to begin and how to do it, because there's a lot of things in my wardrobe.
Yeah.
But we can you show us probably the practical step that we can start it at home.
Well, basically what I said earlier, the 3 steps, instead of doing 3 all at once, that might overwhelm you at some point, you can pick one that comes easiest for you.
What we should keep.
Yeah, but I would always say that always start with your wardrobe. So instead of like shop outside or shop in commerce or in a mall, shop your wardrobe.
Okay.
So look inside what you already have.
Okay.
Try to understand your style, what you have, what you don't have, what you like, what you don't like. So start with your own collections. Because at the end of the day, if you, start within your own wardrobe first, and then build the habit after, so that, but always start with your wardrobe.
Okay.
I've got a couple of perhaps you can refer to them as either myth or misconception.
Yeah.
That perhaps maybe you can help share some more that people might have. One of them is that the reason people are kind of diverting to fast fashion is because, like you said, a lot of it is inexpensive, and then people say, oh, things are going out of style anyway, so I just don't need it for too long. So for one, a lot of people feel if you go to more conscious fashion, it might be more expensive or more costly. Another one would be for parents out there that say, my kids are going to outgrow things, so I might as well get them cheaper things because they're going to outgrow it real fast anyway. What would you have to say with some of those, perhaps I guess they're more misconceptions than myths, and do you have any more that you could share in regards to this?
First, it's correct what you already
Yeah.
said, that sustainable or conscious fashions are labeled expensive.
Right.
But the thing is that this is not about what to shop, but it's about how to shop. So, for example, if you buy a cheap fast fashion clothing, but frequently,
buy
it will
more.
cost you more
Right.
than buy one thing that is staple to your wardrobe with higher quality and stands a long time in your wardrobe. Definitely, it's gonna way cheaper.
That's true. It's like, as men, we need to have white T-shirts, and then some of the cheaper stuff that I got in the past, the seams would start to shift, or they would go yellow pretty quickly.
Yeah. Right.
Whereas you spend a little bit more for the higher quality one, and it actually lasts you a couple of years.
Yeah,
There you go.
true,
That's a good
true.
example.
Yeah,
You
okay.
spend less over a long period of time.
Now we can, and then we can be disciplined with our spending, so
What
we can
about our
save up.
children,
Yeah.
by the way, because sometimes
Yeah.
we tend to think, like, I don't, my kids are going to put holes in the knees. Should we be also conscious shopping for our kids?
I think it's a bit tricky when it comes to
Yeah.
kids' clothing, but my approach is that still maybe a better quality of it, but once my kids outgrown the clothes, I will donate it to, not donate, maybe like give it to my relatives.
A niece or nephew?
Yes.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. So,
We do
so,
that.
so I have this kind of habit in the family, whereas like, for example, like pajamas. Pajamas is something that's quite staple for kids,
Yeah.
right?
Sure.
And so once it's belonged to the bigger sister, and then it becomes the nieces
one.
and
We
the
call it
nephews.
hand-me-downs,
Yes,
right?
the hand-me-downs. Exactly.
I
exactly.
love hand-me-downs.
Yeah.
So I think we should start looking at, maybe of course the kids will outgrow it, but when it's a higher quality, you can give it to someone else.
Yes.
Very true.
Yeah.
In a good quality, of
Quality,
course. Exactly.
exactly.
So, Cempaka, you also very active in social media, saying about these things, and then I saw your content as well promoting conscious fashion
Right.
and trying to remind people of, please be mindful in everything. So what role do you think that content creator plays in shaping the way people view sustainable fashion? Because sometimes we tend to inspired by those who say that it's very convincing, but somehow we didn't realize that, oh my God, it just dragged me to another unconscious buy.
Yeah. First, I think the role of content creators or KOL is really, first is to really make people understand the impact of fast fashion. So really is to show that how devastating the environmental is now by the mass productions of fashion. So they really need to use their voice for that. And second is to influence the shopping behavior by, for example, doing a different kind of styling tips or the non-shopping reminder like what I did. And the third one is also to give an influence on the right fashion or brands choices that more cater to the local artisans, the local brands that is actually very close to where we live. So it's not something about like supporting global brands, but something that is more, close to the heart, close to the where we live. So it's also like quite important. And four is for the KOL and the content creator to actually build community, because as you mentioned, it's way easier if we do this together. So by building communities, we can have like people that we can easily swap clothes with, for example, or creates or make a pre-love bazaar, for example.
Yeah.
So those four things is, I think, what the KOL or the content creator should do to really help the situations.
I'm curious, what initially got you to kind of put your attention and want to put your spotlight on this particular very relevant topic?
So this is something that is very close to my heart actually, because I started my career in 2008 as a fashion journalist.
Okay.
So I got sent to a lot of fashion weeks, and I got exposed to so many trends beforehand, before everybody else have seen it. And I see that trends move so quickly and they move in cycle. So what the trends that we saw right now must have been a trend 10, 20,
right.
always, because
Yes.
that's how
cycle.
that's how it goes. They always burn in cycles. And then that caused what we call planned obsolescence. That is where garments are not made to last because of the quality or the trends. So like what you said, if you buy like fast fashion items, you know like it's not going to last because the trend is moving to something new, and then you felt like it's not trendy anymore. You don't want to buy it, and you want to buy something new. That is planned obsolescence. So I felt like it's just tiring, and fashion is not like that because I love fashion. I'm someone who loves fashion until now, and I think fashion is not that bad. So I wanna. That's where this coming from. So I really want to educate people onto really how to shop smarter and to love fashion in a better way. So then so they're gonna make their every purchase worth.
I got a follow-up question.
Yeah.
Interesting that you brought up trends.
Yep.
How does one keep up with trends but also maintain
Want to
more
be conscious.
Yeah, because let's say next year, or this year, I keep saying next year. This year, brown is supposed to be the color,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Everybody's heard
Mocha.
that. So I don't have any brown items, let's say, so I've got to pick up a few. But then maybe next year it's going to be a different color. So is it possible to still keep up with trends? You mentioned how quickly they cycle through trends. Is it still possible to keep up with trends but also maintain kind of a fashion conscious sense?
I think it really depends on how you define keep up.
Okay.
Like for me, I keep up with trend in terms of the knowledge. Like for me, especially as a brand owner, so I have to know like exactly what is on trend right now.
Right.
But just to my knowledge. But then I felt like I'm more of a content human being, knowing that okay, for example, like the color of the year is, for example, like peach. But just to my knowledge, okay, peach.
It doesn't mean you have to have a bunch of peach things in your
Exactly,
closet.
it doesn't
Got
have
it.
because I felt like what I have is enough, and I'm not determined by what I have.
Okay.
Correct.
So I am what I am, and this is what I like to do, what I like to wear. So it's just to my knowledge, but really not. It's not like you have to follow every trend.
We don't
that
have to
is-
fall victim to every trend that comes.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because there's no end to it.
That's
like,
right.
Really.
Yeah, it
Totally
goes
agree.
on and on and on and on.
That's
and
right.
never
And the
stops.
last thing you realize that you don't have money in your bank account.
Of course.
Or you have like no space in your wardrobe.
Exactly.
Because
it makes
it's like
it very stressful.
exactly.
And peach looks horrible on me.
Yeah, me too. I don't like it. So, Cempaka, with 2025, it's already here. What are some of the key fashion trends or shifts that you're excited about in terms of sustainability?
Yes.
And probably, how can we as the consumers take advantage of this shift to make us smarter, conscious buyers?
Yeah, first is the rise of the circular fashion. So every time I post something about renting clothes, for example, so every time I go for a party
idea, right.
or anything that requires like a certain dress code and I don't have it, I will try to borrow from friends or rent like a rental shops. And every time I post a content like that, people just love the idea. So I think that's the rise of the circular fashion. People understand that it's actually normal to rent or to borrow or to buy pre-loved, for example. So everything doesn't have to be new. So that's the first. And second is the use of new kind of biodegradable or something that is more sustainable material. Like, like leather now is made out of mushrooms. And also there's a lot of biodegradable synthetic materials as well. And third is the popularity of slow fashion. So people also started to realize that the slower fashion, the one that is not aligning to trend much, or brands that having more of a good quality, is actually something that is worth to buy more.
Yes.
So people can start to look at this kind of brands, especially local brands that has this kind of narratives. They're really like slower in style, or they have more of a classic,
Yes.
kind of like non-trendy, but something like more timeless.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, that's something that they can.
So the best thing is we have to increase our knowledge about
Yep.
the sustainable fashion, about the consumerism, and what's the impact to us if we don't stop or we don't start to being conscious about buying things, especially related to fashion.
Agree. Cooler to be less
Yeah.
trendy
Have you
in
ever
2025.
rent anything related to fashion? I do, because
Actually, our colleague Marissa Anita put me onto it 2 years ago. She's like, whenever you have an event, you don't have to go buy
Exactly,
something
Paul.
specifically for that event. Just
Exactly.
rent or borrow.
yes,
And I've been doing it since.
Yes, and I subscribe to the account because it's
Yeah.
really smart.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cempaka. Thank you so much.
dropping
Thank
you
by.
for having me.
And
Thank you
how
for
can
coming.
if someone hasn't followed yet and interested in checking out your content, what's your handle?
You can follow me on Instagram. It's Chasriani, or on TikTok, it's Chasriani.
Okay, thank you so
Thanks
much
again
for
for dropping by.
coming. Yes.
All right, we're going to take another short break here, but we actually, coming up next, have a story, since you guys are gym buddies, about a gym that is dedicated to accommodating the young interested in boxing that has been operating behind Bogor City Hall since 1990. Now, this free gym is open to children aged anywhere between 7 and 17 who wants to take up boxing as a hobby or even aspiring to go pro.
Our news team, Maudi, Halisa, and Reza and Indita have more details about it. Stay tuned as the story will come after the break.